Welcome to another episode of Ageless Philosophy by Alexander Blucher. This is episode 7, titled Men, It's Time to Rewrite the Code. Today we're going to be covering some terms and definitions, which is shelter, water, food, clothing, sense of value, price versus cost. Understanding established talking points of the definition, and I'll leave you guys with some examples, which is 2 clips at the end of the presentation. Feel free if you want to fast forward there. But the 2 clips are price versus cost and foundation knowledge in financial literacy. Definition of shelter: a place given temporary protection from bad weather or danger. Protect or shield from something harmful, especially bad weather. Definition of water: a colorless, transparent, odorless liquid that forms the sea, lakes, rivers, and rain, and is basis of the fluids of living organisms. Definition of food: material consisting essentially of protein, carbohydrate, and fat used in the body of an organism to sustain growth, repair, and vital processes, and to furnish energy. Definition of clothing: items which are worn with the intended purpose of providing cover for the surface of the body. Clothes collectively. Definition of set of value: a feeling of personal worth or importance, essentially understanding and believing that you have significance and are valued, which stems from your own internal set of principles and beliefs about what matters in life. Definition of price versus cost: cost is typically the expense incurred for a product or service being sold by a company. Price is the amount a customer is willing to pay for a product or service. Understanding established talking points of the definition. So today we have here shelter, water, food, basic needs, confidence, sense of value, and price versus cost choices, right? So starting here with shelter, water, food, basic needs is very straightforward. Once you already have your basic foundation, shelter, water, food, you're good. All right. So, for example, my grocery bill average a week about a good $100 to $140 a week. That just only secure for one person. I don't have kids at this moment. But once I already have that secured, there's no reason for me to try to go over to $200 grocery bill for one person. Now, I bring that up because I already have a set number put in place for food. Water's already there. I'm hydrated. My shower is available when I need it. That's good. And I have a roof over my head. It's very straightforward, right? So that's basic needs, right? Confidence, sense of value, right? Now, confidence could come in so many different forms, but my way of confidence came through football, right? Where you talking about put on a helmet and some shoulder pads and, going against a defender that you're not sure what will be the outcome, right? Another confidence to kind of build is my way of speaking. I'm speaking on a public mic right now. I just stuttered, but I come to a point that I just give grace to myself and the progression, the perseverance that I'm doing in this moment. So I'm just sharing that with you guys today as an example through experience. To kind of gain that confidence. It might be confidence to speak to a woman. I'm a guy, so speak to a woman. For ladies, it might be speaking to a guy. You might get nervous, right? But today is more men. It's time to rewrite the code because there's room to be sure that your foundational needs, far as getting through life, to be productive in life and be on purpose in life, it may be a little rocky. It might be some areas that you didn't think of that needs a little bit more focus on, right? So we have here confidence, and sense of value. Sense of value might be that suit. I'm not a big suit person, but if I throw on a suit, I might, look in that mirror and throw a little confidence in the mirror, like, the swag is there, right? The sense of value might be that cologne, right? Sense of value might be that the car that you drive, right? It's not to bring jealousy or envy towards another individual, but it's just to be able to be in that position that this is what you have worked hard for, legitimately, and this is what you could be able to drive at the moment, right? So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Price versus cost, and choices. So because somebody set a price, I already have first thing in mind, a house. Somebody set a price for that house for $500,000. All right, yeah, that's the price, all right. But what's the cost? And is it worth the $300 or $500 for that inspection, to pay for the inspection, to view that property? Because you could pay the price of that house of $500,000, but are you left with a roof leak? Are you left with some plumbing issues that will eventually be a cost on the person buying the house? If they already bought the house for $500,000, as an example, if they already bought the house for $500,000, the cost of paying for roof damage and paying for plumbing issues, it supersedes, just paying the monthly mortgage. Normally, when I'm on the field with buying customers, I've did my best to educate them that when purchasing a home, if it's just you and your family and you working, the mortgage company most likely would like for you just to purchase a home that doesn't have any issues as best as possible, because they really just want you to focus on working and paying the mortgage. But if you get in a house, I'm gonna have to say $400,000, and it's just a single parent and their children, the mortgage may not approve a house or purchasing a house if it has issues as far as roof damage, as far as plumbing issues, and etc. Right? Every case is different, but from my experience, it's a matter that's very straightforward. The homeowner should be able to just purchase a home. The buyer should be able to purchase a home and just continue working and paying their mortgage. Nothing extra needs to be done to the house, right? And that's just a general statement I'm using there. I'm aware that there's investors out there. I'm aware that there's family-owned businesses, investors out there. So this is not to take away from those type of logic of purchasing a home. Okay, so price versus cost and choices, it really boils down to, the true value of what you're paying, right? Before I started this presentation, I like to just, kind of talk freely just to get the flow going. And I was mentioning about, 1 liter soda. I forgot the sizes, but I think a 1 liter soda where, you could buy for $1.99 at a convenience store. But then a pack of soda, it may not be 1 liter, but I hope you guys, the soda that sells in the convenience store at your gas stations, it's like $1.99, but you could go to a supermarket and get a 6-pack for $4.99. And it amazed me that, because, it's a place that the product is available, the convenience that's there, the price is $1.99. You're not thinking about, well, the moment I get to the supermarket, I'm going to get the 6-pack for $4.99. So, once again, another general statement there, not to go so much detail in the examples I'm giving. I am looking forward to kind of putting on like an online course or some kind of webinar that kind of goes more in detail and when it comes to numbers and different perspectives and stuff like that. But in today's presentation, just more of just building that kind of awareness, right? Where another last example is probably purchasing a car in a loan, in your early 20s, and you just working and paying car notes and insurance, so, was that the best investment at that time? For some, may say yes. And for those, might say, no, that may not be the best investment. It might be to just pay $2,000 car cash and just get through without a car note, right? So I gave quite a few examples there. But in today's presentation, it's very straightforward, very simple, all the way from shelter, water, food, basic needs, confidence, sense of value, price versus cost choices, right? So that ends the freestyle subjective speech, AB literacy on something to compare to channel. Man, it's time to rewrite the code. I'll have 2 clips here. I look forward to probably doing a little bit more on the rewriting the code, probably 1.1 or 1.2, like different topics around this title. I kind of do like this title. It's time to rewrite the code, where sometimes you just have to sit back and be like, nah, something in this life path doesn't feel right. What am I doing wrong? What I'm not seeing? Can I be ahead of the curve? Am I always the last one to receive? Or they say the end of the stick. You're the last one. Everybody done had theirs, and you just the last one. Just to be like, okay, So just kind of be part of that circle of people that kind of thinking outside the box and still progressing, right? So I do like this title, man. It's time to rewrite the code. So I'll get started here with the 2 long video clips, less than 14 minutes. Price versus cost, foundation knowledge, and financial literacy, right? Leave you with the closing question. If your company business established in 1910s or 1920s, what will be the value of the company/business in today's market? No gaslighting here, a genuine question to ask yourself. If your company business was established in 1910s or 1920s, what would be the value of the company business in today's market? No gaslighting here, a genuine question to ask yourself. All right, so thank you. I'm your speaker and host, Alexander Blucher. That's my contact number there. My email, info@alexander-blucher.com. My website, www.alexander-blucher.com. Thank you for listening. You guys take care.
Price is still too high, then I would go to this one. Well, now let me ask you, are you concerned about the cost, or is it the price that you're concerned about? And a lot of times they would say, well, what's the difference? Now, I would always use, and incidentally, the reason I moved to the board, and what I encourage you to do, anytime you see me use this board to illustrate a point, or use graphics to illustrate a point, that says to you that you need to be letting your prospect see you writing something when you're showing figures. And the reason is we've been conditioned to believe what we see and doubt what we hear. Now, if they see it and hear it, see it as logic, hear it as emotion, you put the 2 together and you got a better chance of making the sale. So the prospect says, well, what do you mean? Is it cost or price we're concerned about? Then I simply say, and here's the example I use because it happened in my life, I encourage you to get one out of your industry that specifically fits you. I say, well, now, when my son was 6 years old, we went down to the Swin bicycle place to get him a bicycle. They told us it was $64.95. Well, years ago, that was an enormous price to pay for a bicycle. Just to teach a 6-year-old how to ride, he's going to tear it up anyhow. So I went down to a discount store, and there I priced a bicycle for $34.95. Now, this price is obviously considerably less than that. And again, I'm showing them, they're seeing it and hearing it. Now, it was a nice little bicycle. About 60 days later, we went back to that little bicycle store because we wanted to get the handlebars replaced. And they said, well, you know, it's in warranty and not going to cost you anything. Well, 30 days later, we had to go back and get more new handlebars, no longer a warranty. And so now the price is $4.50 higher. And at this point, we have got, let me see, $39.45 invested in that bicycle. Well, about 3 months later, the entire sprocket apparatus, the brakes and all of that, came completely kazip. We went back to the little bicycle store, and this time it came to roughly $15, and now we've got $54.45 invested in that bicycle. Well, about a month later, the bearings in the front wheel went kazip. We went back down to the little bicycle store, and they said it'd be about $5. I'd forgotten. I threw in the towel at that point, and I said, no way. Then we went and bought the Swin bicycle for $64.95. My 6-year-old son rode that bicycle. He raised the handlebars, took the fenders off, and made a dirt bike after about 5 years out of it. He rode that bicycle regularly for the next 5 years, and periodically he rode it for 10 years. The only other expense we had, literally, were 2 tires for that bicycle. Now, let's look at what I've just said. The price of this one was considerably more than the cheaper bicycle. The cost of this bicycle right here, for 6 months, it cost us $54.45, or $9 per month to him for him to ride that bicycle. In 10 years, this bicycle cost $64.95, or the cost was $6.50 per year. Now, Mr. Prospect, let me ask you again. Is it price or is it cost you're concerned with? Now, the reason I stress that so strongly is simply this. A lot of people can beat us on price, but nobody can beat us on cost. And since price is a one-time thing and cost is a lifetime thing, don't you really want the best possible lowest cost that really is effective?
Greetings. Welcome to Something to Compare To channel. Today we're going to be contributing knowledge in the financial literacy realm. Before I get started in my creativity, I want to go over 2 glossary terms for the day. 1, asset, and 2, liability. Asset defines a useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. Another definition states property owned by a person or a company regarding as having value and available to meet debts, commitments, or legacies. Another definition states military equipment such as planes, ships, communications, and radar installations, equipment, or targeting into military operations. Liability defined the statement of being responsible for something, especially by law. Another definition on liability, a thing for which someone is responsible, especially a debt or financial obligation. Plural noun, liabilities. I'm bringing up these 2 terms, asset and liabilities, today because I think it's good to express the common sense of our daily life, where assets could be able to add to your situation, or liabilities could continue taking away from your situation. Okay? As an example, if I purchase a car, simple numbers, $10,000. If that car sits there, it's a liability. I will have to pay on a car note every month, typical, right? That's a liability. But that same car that I purchased, if I was able to rent that out and make more income than what I'm paying my car note per month, it becomes an asset. So once again, just a simple overview. Asset adds value, liability take away value. Okay? It's very simple, but I think it should be able to activate some kind of like light bulb in somebody's mind of the difference. Okay? So I was able to come up with this XY axis graph or grid where you have on your X, you have negative to the left, positive to the right, plus to the right. Okay? And on your Y, you have your negative down and you have your positive up. Okay? Very simple, right? That I was playing around with the idea of just thinking of human behaviors or life experience where on the negative side, I was thinking of dysfunction, right? On the side of is a plus plus, a win-win, optimistic. Now, these are the terms I just randomly just put together just to play around with the idea a little bit more. But if you think like a win-win, what would be that vocab word that will make sense, right? And on the plus and negative side, where the X is plus, but the Y is negative, is pessimistic, right? Where we have people that are moving along forward, but they have negative thinking about certain outcomes. On the negative, where the X is negative and the Y is a plus, you have poor morals. Potentially, I think like if someone has access to a lot of funds or income, they're a millionaire, but they went through a lot of greed to get that. Or they had to come up with a crazy scheme to get over on people to get that money. So I think that's poor morals. I would think that's poor morals. So I'm just fitting this in on today's discussion, just playing around with the idea. Hopefully it's something that I could continue with and just make sense. I did not get it out of a book or a chapter. If this is in a book somewhere, please let me know. I would like to read that book. But it's just something that just came up and I want to be able to express it, I think that we all need tools in our life, which simple factor, a toothbrush to brush your teeth every day, right? That's very simple, right? Or a cell phone to make a phone call, or a car to get to a destination. So I'm thinking to share the idea of making a financial plan like a bi-weekly tool or a monthly tool where you know your expenses. Even if you're spending money, however, when you look at your statements, you could be able to see exactly, okay, I spend my money however, but at least there's a grand total of where that money is going. Okay? The bank statement is pretty advanced, but let's be able to understand the layout of a financial plan. So per month, we have in the list of our items, our expenses, we have rent, mortgage, car maintenance, car fuel, cable internet, cell phone, electric. Now, I just want to take just one step. Are you listening or are you writing this down? Because I think I'm doing this contribution today so you could be in a position just to grab a pen and paper and write this information down. Yes, there's some professionals that could do it in their head, but from thoughts through your right arm, if you're right-handed, goes into a pen and paper. Okay, you just write it down so you could clear from your mind onto a paper. Okay? So you have the electric, water bill, groceries, medical expense, dining, entertainment, car loan, car insurance, sun pass or toll, child support, gym membership, clothes, books, travel, student loans, self-care, Lyft, Uber rides, daycare, religious or charity, or which we know as tithing, okay? And what you're going to do is total all those expenses up, and it's going to equal to something. That's my contribution for today. So I am Alexander Blucher. Thanks for watching. The hashtags will be in the description of intellectual property, hashtag see everyone winning, hashtag black psychology. Take care.